Well, a lot of people asked me that before, actually, why, your name is called Kalvintaka. Well, I would have to cut the story short. Years ago, after the death of my late grandmother, father side, right, okay, we knew something was not quite in place. I didn't mean that my dad was in any psychological mess, but years and years went by, eventually we found out that my late dad was Japanese. I was like, huh? Really? Good. My goodness, really? Wow, I didn't know that. We did. All our families, we didn't quite know knew either. So I was pretty much just amazed. Life is full of surprises, right? So I do not speak, but unfortunately, right, I do not speak a word in Japanese though. Unfortunately, okay, I have to apologize. And but I do have one thing for sure. And it's art. I mean, it's a universal language, right? So, my dad was a really, really calm and a visionary person, in everything he did. Patience was his key and forte, he's patient. And a man with really strong determination, technically, I mean, almost everything he did was near to perfection. Sounds boastful, right? But it's not, seriously, it's not. I used to hate my dad, again, so much that my thought was like, why is he always mean to me? See, perhaps that explains, honestly, perhaps that explains why he's always wanted me to be someone, someday in life. He always said to me during his last stay in a hospital bed, and I can still, recall the memory. He was weak, and he said when I visited him, he said, "Come, what do you want to drink?" It was an offer. First, I thought it was just another random courteous offer. When someone visits you, right? I do sincerely do not think so. Oh no, but it was something else. It was something else. I knew it was something else. I remember during my art lesson, right, back in Portsmouth back in England, Portsmouth University in 1998, art is very much a meditative, subject, until today, statistically speaking, even for my art teacher. Back then, my responsive in English was really bad, was very terrible, and so was my understanding, of English. Our communication skill was pretty downslope, unfortunately. But I think we learn every day, right? Every day we learn. So the question was, now, why art? You see, why? The question was why. We always expect an answer, why. Well, if I were to tell you, right, honestly, now, bear with me. If I were to tell you that I loved art when I was a wee little boy, that would definitely be a lie to everyone. Honestly, loving something comes in numerous forms and perspectives as well, towards individuals as well. But I myself would definitely not just to love art by itself, because art is just because the word art, right, is just another general word to describe certain subjects. But instead, I always get acquainted with art, get to know them, get acquainted, to be the art itself. Technically speaking, it's like put yourself in someone's shoes, be in whatever the subject is, just be the art itself. You have to feel it literally on your skin by your heart. You don't deliberately put colors on the skin, and just to feel it. Though it's just a metaphor. Cannot help. I honestly think so, my friend. I honestly think so very much, and it's very much actually. Imagine this: everyone in this world, they have their own, unique ways, countless ways of doing things, doing everything and making themselves, feel beautiful, great, or even like a superstar, you say. But I found my musical way. My way is more to musical part. And how do I do that? I do believe a lot of you out there, right, must have heard people talk about the conscious mind, subconscious mind, how you coexist them, so on, etc., etc. Now, how do you deal with it? Well, you have to harness them. Here's the tip. Firstly, you have to bear with me, right? Firstly, you have to be in a sitting up straight position, right? Sitting up straight position, and then you take the deepest breath. You fill your lungs to its maximum capacity and exhale slowly. You see, you don't go, you don't do it quick. Just, excuse me, do it slow. Inhale and exhale slowly, and you count, up to 5 seconds or 10 seconds. It's entirely up to you. And you will have, when you take in so deep, you will feel the sensation, the slow adrenaline, right? The rush throughout your arms and veins. And if you're lucky, right? And if you're lucky, sometimes you see stars scattered all over the place, until right till the end of the corner of your eyes, because the adrenaline, right? And while doing so, try your best discarding every single negative energy you can ever accumulate down to its molecular level, one by one. Slowly repeat the step. You moderately will feel the lightness and the weightlessness of your body and mind. It's not an easy task, but you just try it out, and repeat the steps. Okay, you may not get it the first try, but keep doing it. You will eventually get there. You're trying to relax your daily conscious mind, you see, and unleash your subconscious mind. And that is when the artistic side of you kicks in. You see, that's where your subconscious mind, that's where a lot of, undiscovered stuff is headed right in the deep corner of your subconscious mind. And of all I mentioned, right, it applies to everything literally. Not just to art stuff, okay, by the way, but to professionals. Like doctors, pilots, architects, engineers, or even housewives. Come on, how stressful can you get? It applies to everything. Do the same thing, but repeat the same process. So the utterly simple step of breathing and the music thing I mentioned earlier, it actually helps to what is the word? Enhance. Enhance and your unexplored side of your conscious mind. See. And it kind of like coexists with the subconscious mind, while it sugarcoats the smoothness of your profession. By doing so, right, can you imagine that it's like you're having twins doing the same job? Let's say if you're a new beginner or a newbie, okay, I strongly suggest that you do it alone, indoor, for the time being. Okay, for the time being, because you need to minimize interference. As outdoor, right, the clusters of ambiences and vibration can more or less distract you. See, so at the same time, play relaxing music. It could be in any genre, from jazz, meditation tracks, to even Celtic tracks, and most importantly, only play the tracks which reminds you of the happiest moments you have lived through. It will boost the practice quicker and maximize your serene moments. It will definitely happen. Of course, this thing doesn't just come overnight. You have to constantly practice. Soon it will just get you there. It's just a very few simple steps. Take a deep breath, maximize the capacity, exhale, discard the negativity. That's about it, while listening to nice music. That's about it. Honestly, to me, that's just another mediocre subject. Now imagine this, right? How could you possibly, right, enhance an enhanced subject? It's already been enhanced, right? I'll give you another example, right? A vehicle, a car. A car is designed to travel, is designed and be created to travel a given speed. Okay, and now what happened if we abuse its capability by pushing its limit, or perhaps beyond of what it's made for? Everything will just crumble. Now visualize this again. If you were to push a child, right, a claustrophobic child, or a person to a corner, the child or person will suffer, and it's just down to the matter of time, right, before the child actually loses it. Okay, another thing is, you have to keep up with me for a second, right? why I say he's claustrophobic, it could be anything else, right? I say claustrophobic is because I already knew. The thing is, I already knew. And since you already knew your child's weakness, and that's just the surface. And secondly, to top it up with selected option by parents, parenting curfew, because it was chosen, right? With such atrocity, right? Perhaps you are limiting their desires, and the severity will just climb to its peak. Is if it's not treated properly, though. So you see, children can only do that much during their growing up period. Bottom line is, you do not entrap them. You enhance them, nourish them. See, I do know by heart that it's easy being said than done. Human being, tends to balkanize everything, really, or even perhaps express words which travels like spears. Unfortunately, such ad hominem speeches, right, with such act, echo centuries ago, it's been done long time ago. I'm just merely sharing, nothing to be ashamed of, right? Like one used to say, sharing is caring, right? So before I sum it up, right, there's another edition of Art Talk stuff. You still remember the phrase or question which my dad asked me when he was in a hospital bed? I finally got it figured out, actually. He did not just offer me drink. Now you have to bear with me, right? He did not just offer me drink. He gave me choices. Right? He gave me choices. Now can you imagine this just for a second, right? If we were to perform the same thing toward a non-family member, like a friend, for example, what would the reply be? Is it an ice-breaking conversation? Being friendly? Or perhaps you have too much money to spend on drinks? Or even perhaps there is something under your sleeves. Right? But of how I see it, okay, I visualize it as a bonding of love. So I've learned about soon I've learned about the bonding thing. I got so carried away, full of joy, but I was so happy, and but I was already way too late to express my appreciation. What I'm trying to say to people around the world is, regardless of your ethnicity, learn to appreciate. Remove your masks when having conversations. After all, right, everyone is different with own beauty to share. I'm Kalvintaka. Thanks for watching.